Hello guys, how's everyone doing this morning? I'm sure everyone can agree it is incredible that we've got an event like this now in South Africa, the very, very first of its kind. But let's be honest, this isn't exactly the kind of event that you leap out of bed in the morning to come to. And the only reason I say this is because every single one of us who are here today has come because we're struggling with something associated with fertility. Or we're wondering if something could be wrong if we've been trying to conceive and nothing's happening. And these are tough things, and they're sometimes uncomfortable things to talk about, but it doesn't have to be this way. My name's Natasha, as Saskia so graciously introduced me. I own my own business, and I'm 36. I've struggled with fertility challenges for the last 5 years. As Saskia mentioned, from severe endometriosis to having had 2 operations for it in as many years. I've had ovarian cysts, inconsistent hormone levels that have prevented me from being able to get pregnant, and I'm currently going through my 3rd cycle of ovary stimulation in 3 months so I can harvest my eggs. I've had over 14 injections in as many days, and I'm honestly starting to feel like my own personal little voodoo doll. Got a million little pricks all over the show, and I'm sure there's a few people here that can probably sympathize and understand what it's like to go through something like that. Just since September last year, I've spent 120,000 Rand on various treatments and medications associated with trying to get pregnant, as well as harvest eggs and embryos. And the worst thing is that my medical aid hasn't covered any of the significant expenses associated with this. With the exception of 1 consultation and the odd blood test, every single other expense has fallen onto my shoulders to deal with. I'm a member of Discovery Medical Aid. I'm on I'm on a classic saver package. And part of that comes with a very conservative medical aid savings plan. We're in February. Well, we're now in March. By February, my entire annual medical savings fund had been completely depleted. So then I had to get financial help from my own personal network, whether it's a very understanding business partner, an extremely understanding boyfriend who's sitting over there who I've dragged this morning to come with me, as well as parents, because I'm an entrepreneur trying to run my own business. Who has 120,000 Rand lying around? Who has half that? It's not supposed to be this way. To date, infertility is the only prescribed minimum benefit on the exclusion list of open plan medical aids in South Africa. And along with a group of extremely dedicated, passionate people from House of Fertility, as well as the Infertility Awareness Association, and media and legal fraternities that we're getting involved, we're going to change the archaic medical coverage status quo. It's high time that medical aids come to the party and they actually move with the times. From a Jacaranda podcast that we recorded earlier in the year, which you can find on the AFASA website, as well as on the Jacaranda website, to challenging the 9 largest open plan medical aid schemes directly and through social media to tell me why they're ignoring my medical needs when I need them most, I'm part of a voice that's only getting louder. And with more and more people getting involved and sharing their stories of how the medical aids flatly refuse to assist when they need help the most. Late last year, after being told by my medical aid repeatedly that they won't assist me with my fertility expenses, I posted a survey on Facebook through my own personal Facebook page, and I encouraged my network of friends and followers to complete it anonymously if it applied to them. The questions that I raised covered everything from what had they spent on fertility treatments or their journey to date, who was their medical aid provider, and what was their diagnosis. I didn't boost the post, and I think I've got just under 1,000 friends, and in 3 days, there were over 100 responses. In addition to that, I also got 20 private messages and counting from South Africans around the world. The people who answered me were absolutely desperate, as desperate as I am, for their medical aid to support their fertility struggle. They felt judged, they felt ignored, they felt abandoned, financially as well as emotionally stressed. And as you well know, anyone who's going through the fertility journey, what's the first thing your gynae or your specialist tells you? Keep calm, don't stress. So going through this and not having their medical aid come on board was compounding what they were already dealing with, and the medical aids just didn't care. We're applying pressure daily on the schemes to come back with credible, transparent answers, and to date, they've falsely represented their service offerings. They've tried to hide in the shadows, or they've just blatantly lied in writing on social media, which is a publicly accessible forum, about stating about proactive actions that they've taken when it comes to fertility, when in fact they've done nothing at all. A perfect example of this actually was Discovery put out a statement in the last week on their social media in response to a post that I had made. And they said that over the last 2 years, they've actively engaged with the likes of SASREG as well as IFASA. And Saskia, the CEO of IFASA, actually responded after speaking to the CEO of SASREG and said, guys, you haven't spoken to us in over 6 years. You're not engaging with us. Why are you claiming that you are? They're putting it in writing that they're doing things that they're not, and they've done nothing at all to recognize that 1 in 6 couples are suffering. I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie Pretty Woman, but there's a line in that movie where it's like, big mistake, huge mistake, guys. You've put it in writing that you're doing things that you're not, and we're not going to forget that. We're not just a group of hormone-charged crazy women. We are on a mission to be seen and to be heard and to be listened to by companies that we pay thousands of rands a month to look after our health. It's great that I get discounts on flights and that Discovery wants to give me free coffee when I earn my Vitality points. But why do they turn a deaf ear when I need the medical support for a condition that affects my physical health, my mental stability, and my emotional well-being? And it's not just Discovery that's to blame. They even had the gall to tell me that if they were to cover costs associated with fertility challenges, that they'd be taking money and funding away from more important life-threatening diseases, and that paying for treatments such as what I need and many people in this room today need would not be sustainable for them. No one chooses to go through this. And I assume most of us here didn't even know that we had fertility challenges until either you're trying to conceive, all bits and bobs down south aren't doing what they're supposed to, and you end up in a fertility specialist's office or a gynae's office. When I found out late last year that my egg reserve had depleted and I had a very small window of time left to either try and fall pregnant or harvest my eggs, it was the hugest shock for me. I've always been active. I've maintained a healthy and balanced diet. I've taken my vitamins. I drink lots of water. And I've never, ever done anything extreme or excessive to harm my body. Yet here I am. I am the 1 in 6. And it's very, very difficult some days not to feel broken, not to feel like there's something wrong with me. Why can't I do what biologically should come naturally to me? And when my medical aide stonewalls me and refuses to recognize that my infertility struggle isn't an elective case of hypochondria, but it's a disease that's recognized by the South African government and the World Health Organization, it only makes the suffering worse. Guys, it's 2020. It's not 1920. And this is the year that South African medical aides need to get with the program and start living up to the progressive, forward-thinking positioning stance that they put in all of their marketing material. IFASA personally invited Discovery, Bonitas, Best Med, Momentum, MedShield, Fed Health, Sizwe Medical Fund, and Key Health to send representatives to the fertility show to come and sit and have an honest, open chat with all of us here about their position on infertility treatments. And not a single one of them even acknowledged the invite, never mind responded. They had their chance and they chose to stay silent, and I'm going to make sure that we break that silence. If you'd like any further information about what myself and IFASA are doing in this area, please feel free to chat to us today, or you can find full details for IFASA on their website. There's also a petition, as Saskia mentioned, at the stand behind. They recently shared it on their Facebook page on exactly this topic. Guys, please take the time to sign it. Every single voice, every signature, and every story matters. I know it's not for everyone to stand up and have a big mouth and get up behind a microphone, but I'm happy to be your voice. Everyone here is happy to be your voice, and all we ask for is a signature, because every single one counts. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today and for listening so graciously. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks.